You already know what it feels like. Someone says something to you, and instead of feeling heard, you feel smaller. You try to explain yourself, and somehow it turns into an argument. You walk away from conversations, feeling drained, misunderstood, and honestly a little bit alone even when you're surrounded by people who supposedly care about you. That feeling right there, that quiet frustration that builds up over time, that is not a personality flaw. That is a communication gap. And the moment you close that gap, everything changes. I am talking about your relationships, your career, your confidence, and the way people see you when you walk into a room. Studies consistently show that people with strong communication skills earn more, get promoted faster, have more stable relationships, and report significantly higher levels of happiness. We are not talking about some soft skill that sounds nice on paper. We are talking about the single most powerful tool you carry with you every single day, and most people have never been properly taught how to use it. Real quick, before we go deeper, we have some related programs linked down below in the video description. These programs go much further into what we are covering today, and honestly, if this video gives you even a small shift, what those programs can do for you is on a completely different level. Not everyone takes that step, and that is fine, but the people who do are the ones who stop waiting for things to get better on their own. Now let us get into it. Think about a time you were in a conversation and you could feel the other person drifting. Their eyes shifted, their answers got shorter, and you started talking faster, trying to pull them back, but they were already gone. That is one of the most deflating feelings in the world. And here is what almost nobody tells you. It was not what you said. It was how you were listening. Listening is not waiting for your turn to talk. Real listening is active. It is present. It is when the other person can feel that you are fully with them, not just hearing words but actually absorbing what they mean. When you listen like that, something remarkable happens. People open up. They trust you. They lean toward you instead of away from you. The research here is staggering. Communication experts have found that over 60% of misunderstandings in relationships come not from what was said but from what was not heard properly. 60%. Think about how many arguments you have had, how many tense moments, how many nights that ended badly, and then sit with the idea that most of them could have been prevented simply by listening differently. Here is a practical shift you can make today. When someone is talking to you, resist the urge to form your response while they are still speaking. Just listen. Let their words land. When they finish, pause for 2 full seconds before you respond. 2 seconds. That pause alone signals to the other person that you actually took in what they said. It changes the entire energy of the conversation. But let us talk about something even deeper, because you can listen perfectly and still say the completely wrong thing. Words carry weight that most people dramatically underestimate. The difference between saying you always do this and saying I feel frustrated when this happens is not just a grammar lesson. It is the difference between starting a war and starting a real conversation. When you say you always or you never, the other person stops listening and starts defending. Their brain shifts into survival mode. They are no longer your partner in the conversation. They are your opponent. And no one wins that fight. Not really. But when you speak from your own experience, when you say I feel, I notice, I need, you are not attacking. You are inviting. And that invitation creates space for the other person to actually show up for you instead of protecting themselves from you. This single shift, moving from accusation to expression, has saved relationships that were weeks away from ending. It has turned cold, distant dynamics into something genuinely warm again. It sounds almost too simple, but the simplest tools are the ones that cut deepest. Now here is something that most people never think about when it comes to communication. Your body is talking even when your mouth is closed. Research suggests that the majority of what we communicate comes through tone and body language, not through words. So you can say all the right things and completely contradict yourself with your posture, your facial expression, or the flatness in your voice. Think about the last time someone said fine when they clearly meant anything but fine. You knew, did not you? Because words are only the surface. Underneath every sentence is a whole emotional broadcast that the people around you are receiving, whether you intend to send it or not. When you start to align what you feel with what you express, when you stop pretending that everything is okay when it is not, and you find a way to communicate honestly without letting it become an explosion, the people in your life start to feel safe with you, and safety is the foundation of every meaningful relationship you will ever have. Now, let us talk about conflict, because this is where most communication skills either prove themselves or fall apart completely. You are in the middle of it. Your heart rate is up. You feel wronged. Everything in you wants to be right. And right there, in that moment, the decision you make determines whether the relationship moves closer or further apart. Here is what the best communicators in the world do in that moment. They pause. Not to ignore the conflict, not to run from it, but to get grounded before they respond. Because when emotions are running high, the thinking part of your brain actually becomes less effective. You say things you cannot take back. You make threats you do not mean. You cause damage that takes months to repair. That pause of even 30 seconds before you respond in a heated moment has been shown to dramatically reduce the intensity of conflict and increase the likelihood of resolution. 30 seconds. That is the price of a better relationship. Most people never pay it because they think pausing looks like weakness. It does not. It looks like control, and control is magnetic. Here is what also transforms conflict: curiosity. Instead of going in with your argument fully loaded, try getting genuinely curious about the other person's experience. Ask them what they need. Ask them what they are actually feeling underneath the anger, because almost every argument is not really about what it appears to be about. The argument about the dishes is about feeling unappreciated. The argument about being late is about feeling like you are not a priority. When you get underneath the surface, the whole dynamic shifts. People who master this level of communication do not just have better relationships. They become the kind of person others trust at a level most people never experience. That kind of trust is a form of influence that no title, no status, and no amount of money can buy. And here is what ties all of this together. Every single skill we have talked about, listening fully, expressing without attacking, aligning your body with your words, pausing before reacting, leading with curiosity, every single one of them gets stronger the more you practice. Communication is not a fixed trait. It is a learned skill. And like every skill, the more intentional practice you put in, the faster you transform. People who invest in developing their communication skills report improvements in their relationships within weeks, not years, weeks. Because when you change how you show up in conversations, the people around you respond differently almost immediately. The ripple effect is real and it is fast. So here is where you make a decision. You can take what you learned today and start applying it right now, and you will see a difference. That is the truth. Or you can go deeper with the related programs we have linked down below in this video description. These programs are built for the person who does not want to spend the next few years slowly piecing this together alone. They are built for the person who looks at their relationships, their career, their confidence, and knows that things need to change now, not eventually. Most people will watch this video, feel something shift, and then let life pull them back into old patterns. But you are still here. That already says something about you. Everything you want from your relationships is on the other side of the skills that can be learned. The programs below can take you there faster than you think possible. The only question is whether you are going to let this be the moment everything actually starts to change.